Hey, what's going on, guys? I understand that this is a last minute thing, and I'm usually a pretty serious guy when it comes to talking about the NFL. But man, I was sitting there thinking last night, laying in bed, realizing, good Lord, some of these quarterbacks today, the franchise quarterbacks, are so expensive. Patrick Mahomes, $500 million. You got quarterbacks making $400 million on their contract. You got guys out there making a lot of money. What's going on, Indiana Sports Talk? That it's so expensive. 10 years, $500 million. And it got me wondering, is this the cheapest way that the NFL go about getting a franchise quarterback? Really? I mean, what if it was legal to make your own quarterback, right? I mean, you got like this whole situation of gene splicing and all this other stuff. I know it's not legal, but holy crap, right? $500 million. Do you think a team out there hasn't thought, I could build a lab deep in a mountain where no one knows where it's at. Get me a few scientists, modern scientists, not like these guys from the picture behind me, obviously. I'm not talking about building Frankenstein. But they could legitimately splice them up some DNA, get themselves, make a quarterback, feed him, educate him for 20 years, put him out into the NFL as a free agent rather than the draft, hire him, and it'd be cheaper than $500 million. Holy crap. That is a lot of money to pay for a quarterback for anyone for 10 years. In 10 years, let's just put it this way. In the past 10 years, Marvel has had an amazing amount of movies, right? Amazing. Their best actor hasn't been paid $500 million, right? Iron Man, the guy who plays Iron Man, hasn't been paid $500 million. He's been paid a lot, had a lot of intros in the movies. That is a ton of money. A ton. And the odds of you getting one that's going to last for 10, 15, 20 years is unbelievable. I mean, if you spliced up genes and stuff, you could pick and choose where you're doing. I'm going to give him Peyton Manning's mind. I'm going to give him Patrick Mahomes' natural arm talent. I'm going to give him the longevity of Tom Brady. I'm going to give him Lamar Jackson's legs, right? You can make you've seen this stuff on NFL Network and all that other crap where, people's like, if you could build the perfect quarterback, what if they could? What if they could? What if Patrick Mahomes might be one of those guys? For $500 million, you could build your own dude, right? Holy crap. But of course, it's not legal. I mean, they made a sheep or something like that way back in the day, but then they were like, no, you can't clone your own stuff because that's against humanity. And I'm not going to get into that, whether or not it's something that should or should not be done. I'm just saying it could be done, and it could be done for less than $500 million. But then again, you wouldn't stop there, would you? I mean, I get it. You wouldn't stop there. You'd be like, well, if I got a quarterback that's perfect, I might as well, make the perfect running backs and wide receivers and defensive ends and cornerbacks and everything. Then you would have nothing, your average person that is born in today would have absolutely zero chance of playing in the NFL. So obviously this is something that's thrown. I'm just saying, I think it can be done, and it can be done cheaper than what we're doing right now. The NFL is paying ridiculous. The baseball is ridiculous. Basketball is ridiculous. Sports players are being paid a ton of money for entertainment. Now, I get the NFL, this is a high contact league, and they're putting their body out there, their brain out there, right? They're out there after 10, 15 years of playing in the NFL. They're not the same people. I mean, have you seen Chris Carter's hands? They're like crooked and bent all over the place. Oh, that's what happened because he played in the NFL, right? You got guys out there, Muhammad Ali, poor guy, right? I mean, he had to deal with his situation because of his sport, So I get being paid that much, but my God, that's a lot of money. Well, what about, your average everyday worker? What about those guys in the 60s and 70s that were building houses and consistently in asbestos, right? They're dealing with cancer and ending their lives early and stuff because, of their work. They sure as heck wasn't getting paid millions of dollars. This is a fun thing to be able to do. And I really love the sport. I love covering it. I liked playing it when I was younger. I love talking about it. But when you think about the money involved, it is just, oh my goodness. What's going on, John Davis? But yeah, so this is just a kind of an offshoot, live stream that I decided to put in there because I'm right now kind of going through my Carson Wentz film, and I kind of got bogged down a little bit because there's a lot of film to go through because I wasn't just going to go through last year's. I wanted to see what Frank Reich looked like as well. So I'm mixing up a lot of stuff in order to drop this film room out. But in the meantime, I was like, I was thinking about all this stuff. Yes, I get it. Players aren't just playing. That's what I'm saying. They're putting their bodies and their minds on the line. I get it. I understand. Still a lot of money. A lot of money. Now the good thing is a lot of times you will see guys who make all that money, even people who don't make as much money as others. They're going out there, they're giving back to the community. I mean, I just saw Dak Prescott, right, was going out and helping people during this winter storm thing in Texas. That's admirable. We've seen Colts players, Jim Irsay, going out there and helping the community. That's one of the biggest things that he almost demands from his team is to help out in the community around. So they do give back. They're not going to give back as much money as what they're getting. I'll guarantee that. But my goodness. And the NFL, even in the COVID system, this past year when we had to deal with COVID, right? And they took a massive hit. The NFL still made a ton of money. A ton of money. And was able to, the cap hit for this year is not going to be nearly as bad as what they expected. So they're able to actually make out more so because they went out and they played their games. Unlike, baseball or how basketball went about it. They were like, I'm going for it. I don't care. We're making our money because they don't make their money off of tickets, right? They make their money off of advertisements, off of property sales, off of, things of that nature. And they make a lot of money, and good for them because it's a sport that we all enjoy and love. I mean, we spend $65 to $120 for a jersey, We spend crap tons of money for shoes for, when basketball players endorse it. But geez Louise, What's up, Faisal? I got you, man. I understand. Yeah, this is just I don't know. And then you look at the college guys who don't make it to the pros, right? They can't even make money off of doing an endorsement, right? They can't even do that. And some of these guys are good enough to make the pros, but they get an injury or something and their career is completely and utterly derailed. You got these professional athletes out here who maybe make it a year or two. You expect them to go a lot longer and get hurt, and it derails. Malik Hooker, for instance, right? A lot can be said about his injury. Marlon Mack with his Achilles injury this past year, that's going to cost him. That might cost him his career long term. He's not going to make freaking money like some of these other guys are going to make, even though he is a darn good. I'd say he was a top 10 quarterback or running back 2 years ago. And then he came out beginning of the season, got an Achilles tear. He ain't going to make that money. So I get that you're making a ton of money off of contracts because you're going to be around a while. But wow. Basil here says that the NCAA will hopefully be forced to change that. I think that they should be able to endorse stuff, but not like work another job. Yeah, I know what you mean. I know what you mean. I'm saying 2 years ago, Marlon Mack was a top 10 running back. He was. And we don't know what Marlon Mack would have been done this past year. We have no idea what he would have been like this past year. Jonathan Taylor might not have exploded onto the scene the way he has if it wasn't for Marlon Mack going down. We don't know. His injury could have cost him his career. Money is just so expensive. Look. John here says, yeah, quarterbacks are important for the win, but I agree the price for them lately seems awfully steep, especially since there's been little to no loyalty lately. I just got off of DPN talking about a bunch of Dak Prescott came up, right? Dak Prescott. This is a guy who broke his ankle last year. He turned down a 5-year, $34 million a year contract. Would have made him at the time like the third highest paid quarterback in the NFL. And he turned it down. Now this year, if he's franchise tags, $38 million. $38 million for 1 year. And then he could take that. And like you said, no loyalty. He could be like, screw it. If you're not going to pay me all this money, I'll go to a team that will. And for a quarterback, teams will pay that money. They will pay that money at the cost of the rest of the team. I'll be in DPN's chat here in a little bit. I just wanted to get this stream out and get my thoughts out a little bit. All right, FaZe? What's my take on Malik Hooker? I don't know now. Same situation with Marlon Mack. I think Malik Hooker and Marlon Mack both were very good at their position, but injuries really hurt Malik Hooker. And now Malik's in a situation where he's got to prove that he's still as athletic as he once was, because Achilles tears are terrible for defensive backs. He's already suffered an ACL. Now he's got an Achilles. Man. Lucas, I'll go ahead and talk about Dupree. Bud Dupree is one of those guys where I don't know if he's as good as what his numbers from last year stated. He's good. He'll bring help. I don't think he's the right fit, all right? He's a smaller guy. He's not going to be really great against, your tackles. He's a guy I think is going to be better standing up than having in a 3-point stance, 3 and 4 point stance. And I think he was also helped a lot with TJ Watt being on the opposite side of him, taking up the double team so that he had a lot of single coverage. So I don't think Bud Dupree is going to be worth the $15 million that I fully expect someone to pay for him this year. That's my thought process on Bud Dupree. He's good. He's quick. I don't know. You're taking a chance that he's good by himself as opposed to good with the rest of that team, because Pittsburgh was loaded with talent. That's funny, Garrett. I'm going to bring that up with Mahomes not being as good because of turf toe. All right. There are a lot of injuries. Now, turf toe happens a lot with your running backs, wide receivers, and quarterbacks, especially scrambling quarterbacks. I mean, didn't Andrew Luck deal with turf toe for a while? I think. I mean, Andrew Luck was dealing with a lot of stuff over his career, though. I think Mahomes will be okay with turf toe. It's just something that it could go away if he lets it heal long enough. I don't know if turf toe is going to really. He didn't have to play on it too long. He had to play with it for a while, but not an entire season. So I think it's one of those situations where the longer you play on it, the worse it can get. And you would need more than an off season for it to fully heal. But I don't think that he played on it long enough for it to extend past this current off season. Guys, thanks, man. 14 of you sitting here, 18 minutes in. Don't forget, smash that like button, subscribe if you're not subscribed. I'd appreciate it. So, yeah, full off season for Patrick Mahomes. Here's a cool. Now, the thing about Patrick Mahomes' contract is because it is a 10-year contract and it pays more money as it goes down the line, and the NFL is expecting their cap situation to keep going up and up and up as the years go. So in year 5 or 6, it won't seem like that big of a deal contract-wise. But it's still going to be a $500 million. $500 million. You have running back Christian McCaffrey, right? The running back for the Saints. Both those guys making $14, $15 million a year. Alvin Kamara. Sorry, it took me a second to remember his name. That's quarterback money. That's defensive end money. And they're paying running backs that kind of cash. Running backs. Do you remember when Peyton Manning got paid $15 million a year on his first contract, and everybody's like, holy crap, that's a lot of money. Now running backs are getting paid that. Yeah. And I agree with that. I think he's better on a 3-4 rather than a 4-3. There's more than just Zeke out there, all right? Zeke got paid, but I mean, to be fair, the Cowboys' offensive line, they trotted out like 15 different like offensive line combinations last year because of the injuries to everybody. So that's really going to affect blocking. That's going to affect how a running back runs the football. One of the great things about the Colts and why the running game is so good, that interior has played like every game but 2 for the last 3 seasons straight together. Guard, center, guard, right? The center missed a couple games, Ryan Kelly, in the past 2 years. Anthony Costanzo missed a couple games, and that's why he retired, I think, because of his injuries. But they've been pretty consistently together, and that is huge for a running back. not just quarterback, a running back. Think about this. When Quentin Nelson gets paid his $20 million a year, a offensive guard is going to most likely get paid $20 million a year. $15 years ago, quarterbacks weren't making that. Darn near. 25 years ago. That was quarterback money. It just keeps going higher and higher and higher. Imagine what Trevor Lawrence is, if he succeeds, right? If Trevor Lawrence succeeds, and he's everything we expect him to be as a quarterback in the NFL, in 4 years or 5 years, depending upon if they want to use that 5th-year option to extend him to get a little bit of time to drop an extension. Imagine how much that man's contract is going to be. I mean, it'll be more than Patrick Mahomes if he plays up to expectations. And his expectations is not Patrick Mahomes. All right. I can see, could he end up being the best quarterback in the NFL 5 years from now? Yeah. Even if he's the 5th best quarterback in the NFL 5 years from now, he'll probably get a $500 million. That $500 million contract, well, maybe not $500 million, but $50 million a year. We'll drop it at $50 million a year because 10-year contracts are ridiculous and just unheard of in the NFL. They don't happen. They just don't. But $50 million a year could legitimately be something that you'll see, that second tier of quarterbacks getting in 5 years from now. Boy, I hope not. Jamal Lucas says he expects Big Q to get $25 million a year. I hope not. Think about how much damaging. I mean, that's what we paid, Rivers? Our quarterback? That's a huge chunk. We still got to be able to pay other guys on the team. And I understand that guys need to get paid. At least one good contract. They need to get paid. That way they're guaranteed out. All right. And then their second contract could be a little less if they got a monster contract the first time. Because they need insurance just in case they get hurt and can't play later on. So I understand that. I get it. But the money is just out there. It's so high. I couldn't imagine having $25 million. I couldn't. $50 million a year. Patrick Mahomes gets $50 million a year. I wouldn't know what to do with $50 million, period, let alone a year for 10 years straight. I don't even want to talk about how much money I make because it's nothing like an NFL player. Now, granted, I'm not an NFL player. I just talk NFL. So I get that I shouldn't get paid even the minuscule amount compared to that. I get it. I understand. I respect these guys going out there basically playing against Olympic-style athletes and getting crushed every 45 seconds, let's say, because that's your clock timer. I get that. For 3 hours straight. I get it. I understand. It's nasty. But I just can't wrap my head around getting paid that much money. That is so much. But then I played football for 7 years. Total. Some of these guys play football for 30 years. I'm going to go get to Garrett Thompson's comment here. I think our receivers will be better than everyone thinks because Pittman is ready. Is ready for a good season, and we'll get back Paris Campbell. Yeah, I hope Paris Campbell stays healthy. Paris Campbell's going to be a nasty receiver if he can stay healthy. Zach Pascal's a solid number 2. I think Michael Pittman can jump to be a number 1. And Paris Campbell could be a nasty slot receiver. I mean, ew. Does that mean we shouldn't go out and get somebody? No, that doesn't mean. I mean, definitely go out, throw darts, get some more people in here. Here we go. Davis says, I think with the lowering of the cap, players who re-up this year in free agents will be paid a little less for this year. I don't. I think that they're going to still want paid fat cash, and it's going to end up hurting the teams. Some players who are veterans, who have been out there a while, will take cap hits. Will renegotiate their contracts so they can sign new players that are already on a team. Like, I mean, you're seeing it right now. Like with the Eagles and the Saints and, you know, teams like that, the Chiefs, whatnot. You know, those guys that are already there, they're going to renegotiate some of their contracts so they can keep and add new players. I understand that I expect. But the free agents out there that are going out looking for their first big contract, you know, I expect Allen Robinson, Curtis Samuel, guys like that, Corey Davis. I expect these guys to go out and try to get as much money as humanly possible. Fully expect it. Doesn't matter what the cap hit is to them. They'll just say, figure it out. I'm worth the money. It's those guys who are already set on the team that have been there a while and know and understand what it takes to build a team and make it a Super Bowl contender that already has money in the bank, that will be like, all right, let's get my contract set up so that maybe we could get some of these guys in here. DB, was Buckner worth a first and a payday? 9.5 sacks, 7 total against Houston, Jacksonville, 1 against Minnesota, 1.5, blah, blah. Yes. First off, sacks has some effect on what he's worth. But the fact that he did that being double teamed on almost every snap and had a better season than what he had in the last few seasons with San Francisco, not only was he worth the first, but he was worth the payday because he made the job easier for other guys around him. That is what DeForest Buckner's job is. Yes, he got a crap ton of pressure. He got his 9.5 sacks, fumble recoveries, forced fumbles, stuff like that. But it's what he does. He's a defensive tackle. He's not supposed to get 20 sacks a game. He's supposed to force linemen inside to make your defensive ends get sacks. And between Houston and Autry, they had 19 sacks last year. Between the two, with DeForest Buckner's 9.5. So, yeah, he did his job. Plus, he's great against the run. So, yeah, DeForest Buckner is by far worth that first, and he was worth the payday. I'm glad we have him long term. Okay? I mean, $21 million a year is a lot of money. I mean, that's a premier defensive lineman. But I think he played premier defensive lineman. Tell you in life, never sell yourself short. Well, sounds like crazy money to one, seems low to another. I negotiate contract rates all the time, and I get you. I understand. Yeah. That's why these free agent guys, all these free agent guys, they're going to get as much money as they possibly can. And they should. Because they don't know how long that their career is going to last. Like I said, everybody in the NFL is one injury away from being unemployed, which is why they want their contract. Oh, you're okay, Brian. I understand. Yeah, I understood you meant mad money. I get it. I'm a defensive line guy. And I'll tell you what, I love Darius Leonard, but DeForest Buckner makes Leonard better. That's how I see it. I would love to get another fantastic defensive end, or, because Grover got his extension, right? Grover Stewart got his extension as well. I'd love to see the Colts go out because Houston and Autry are not there. If they re-sign one of them, great, fine. But if you don't re-sign one of them, we've got some defensive end, young guys. Between both of them, they were getting paid $18 million a year between them. We could sign J.J. Watt. He won't cost $18 million a year. Think about that. Save money, get J.J. Watt. You'd have J.J. Watt and DeForest Buckner, Grover Stewart, and then multiple guys can try out on one of the other defensive ends. I think that'd be fantastic. I'm not holding my breath to get J.J. Watt, though. I'm not. All right. True, I forgot that he was a DT. Just wanted to hear your take on those two. Just got to go, but thanks for answering the question. I appreciate the question. That's what I'm here for, man. Take questions. I want to interact with you guys. That's what I'm here for. This year, John Davis hits it right on the head. For this year, yes, you may see a lot of one-year deals because of the hit on the salary cap from COVID. I completely agree with that. Guys, don't forget, smash that like button, subscribe if you're not subscribed, share this to your social media. It doesn't take much, man. If you got a Twitter, you got Facebook, man, or whatever, just click that share button down here and then copy, paste, drop it. Be doing me a huge favor. Because, I'm getting closer to that 1K. I got over 850 now. I've gotten 50 subscribers in the last week and a half. And it's because of you guys. Thank you. Don't forget, check out my Patreon, Lawrence Owen. All right. I got a Patreon right now. I got some stuff uploaded to it. I'll be adding more stuff for Patreon specific only that other people can't find. Some of the stuff, like I got some film rooms on there that aren't on my page, right? There are other places on the internet, and I just drop them on there for Patreons so that they can find all of my stuff in one simple area. Let me see. Don't you think allocating 30 mil on 2 defensive tackles is a bit high considering the cap perspective? That's a good question. Vinicius Goller? If I mispronounced it, I'm sorry. No, I don't. One's 21, one's 9. There's a difference. Grover Stewart earned his. Now, this is the thing about today's NFL. And I'm going to explain this. With your mobile quarterbacks, edge rush is no longer the scariest way of getting the quarter. That's how you get to pocket quarterbacks, is with edge rush. With mobile quarterbacks, you want the pressure up the gut. Force them. You get them up because they can't now they can't. If you're getting pressure up the gut, they can't step into the pocket. They have to legitimately go backwards, then left or right to get away from the pass rush. And you want your scramblers not to be moving forward, but to moving backward. Okay? That's why you put money on the tackles rather than the ends. I can't explain it any easier than that. If you agree with me, hit that like button. But that's my opinion. That's how I see it. in today's NFL, because the NFL, when it comes to quarterbacks, have changed. It's not like 20 years ago when you got, Brady and Montana or Favre or whoever, and Manning and all these guys out there that are just stuck in the pocket throwing the football, where you could just get to them from the edge. No, you need to get up the middle and force them backwards. Brian says, great to have Ballard. He manages things well for Irsay. Why many of us believe the Wentz deal will pay off. I like the trade and the aggressiveness that the Colts did for Wentz. He wasn't my first choice, but I'm okay with the compensation, especially with the fact that, if he doesn't work out, we only pay a second and a third for him. And then if needed, we can release him with no cap penalties, after this year. So, yeah, I'm fine with it. And if he works out, we have our franchise for the next 10 years. And on the cheap, because it's only $25 million a year. Same thing we paid Rivers, but we got him on a 4-year contract if we choose to keep that contract. So, yeah, I'm okay. Jamal Lucas says Frank's about to work Carson Wentz. Hats off. You remember the Colts, they don't deal with loafs, right? They will work you to death. Carson Wentz, the one thing that I really don't like about him is the fact that he held the ball a long time. And there was a few times where Carson Wentz, it started to look like he was seeing ghosts the way Sam Darnold was. He was jumping out that pocket a little early sometimes. But Frank Reich's one of those guys. I mean, Andrew Luck had the same situation. He used to hold that ball a long time and try to make a play when a play wasn't there. Frank got into him. He's like, look, get rid of the ball quick, throw the ball away when you need to, slide when you have to slide, right? I think Frank is a coach I think Carson Wentz utterly respects. That's why he specifically wanted to come to Indy, which is why I think he will leave all his garbage behind him in Philadelphia when he comes to Indianapolis. He'll have an open mindset, trust what Frank Reich has to tell him, and I believe that we'll see a better Wentz than what we saw in 2020. Will it be 2017 Wentz? I don't know. He's had some injuries that's really messed with him a little bit. But we don't have to have 2017 Wentz. We got a great team all the way around. We just need a good quarterback that's not going to turn the ball over and that can throw the football with velocity downfield when needed. That's what I need from my quarterback. The one thing we did not have with Phillip Rivers was somebody who Phillip could do everything except hit a deep target quickly. He could hit a deep target, but they needed to have plenty of running room so that he could lead that receiver because he couldn't, throw it faster than 3 miles an hour. But Wentz can do that. I don't know how good he is at leading a receiver yet. I mean, all I've seen is stupid highlights and clips from other people. I am getting into that myself. What's up, JDW? Appreciate you being here. Thank you so much. What are my thoughts on signing a bona fide wide receiver? I think we have bona fide wide receivers. I really do. Especially, I think Michael Pittman Jr. is a bona fide number one. Okay. Pascal, I hope he stays healthy. I don't know. If we do go out and sign one, I'm perfectly fine with that. I don't want to spend $15 million on Allen. Allen Robinson is my favorite wide receiver right now on the free agency. He's going to be $15 million. Colts can't afford that. I think we can afford up to $10 million. A Curtis Samuel type guy, I think would be great. I think Godwin is going to want too much. I think Allen Robinson's going to want too much. Galladay, we might be able to get away with. I don't know. I think he's more around 12, though. I have no idea what his new number is going to be, and I'm going to say it's probably going to be the same. I think he's going to have an 11. I think Wentz is going to come in with 11. I think he's going to offer Michael Pittman some money for 11, and Michael Pittman will probably go back to 86. It's just my thoughts. I agree also, JDW, that Pascal is underrated. He showed that he can be relied upon. He's a solid number 2 receiver. I agree with you. He's not a top-notch number 1, though. But he's a solid number 2 who can run block. I think Michael Pittman Jr. could be a solid number 1 who can run block, which makes him that even much more dangerous. Agreed. I'm not worried about the number as much. Yeah, I think Galladay will probably run about 12 to 14. And I still don't think the Colts need to spend that kind of money at wide receiver. I really don't. I think we've got good receivers, even if T.Y. Hilton does not re-sign with us. But we could spend the money to get a younger guy, like I said. If Galladay will sign for $10 million a year, let's say, you get him and say, I'll give you a 2-year, $10 million a year contract, and he agrees to it. Absolutely. I just don't think he'll sign for $10 million a year. Love Mo Alley Cox. I think T.Y. Hilton will honestly, I don't think the re-signing T.Y. Hilton will not be up to the Colts. It'll be up to T.Y. Okay? And honest Joe. I think T.Y. is ring chasing right now. And he absolutely should. Now that we have Carson Wentz, though, depending upon how T.Y. Hilton likes Carson Wentz, he may re-sign with Indy. So we'll see. But I definitely want Mo Alley Cox back. If Pascal re-signs, I'd be perfectly fine with it as well. Know your stuff. No matter, Garrett Thompson says he's young and he wants to start a podcast. Be clear and precise about what you're wanting to talk about and know your facts when you talk about them. That is the best tips. All right. Also, don't go extreme, okay? Don't go extreme. Don't be a troll, but don't be an utter homer either, okay? Because doing that, you're literally will be pushing out a lot of people. Try to be level-headed when you can get excited about stuff. I get excited about stuff all the time. I get upset about stuff all the time, but I try to stay level-headed. But definitely know your facts. That is the most important thing. Jack Doyle's still on the team. Jack Doyle still got a couple years left on his contract because he had an extension back in 2019. He's making $7 million a year. Guys, I thank you so much. I've been on here 45 minutes. I expected a 15-minute stream. Seriously. I expected a 15-minute stream. Started off, all I was expecting to do was get on here and talk about and complain about how much franchise quarterbacks cost nowadays, and that it would be cheaper to make a franchise quarterback legitimately by gene splicing and stuff like that and make your own. It would cost less than $500 million to make a guy and then grow him 20 years and bring him in and make him your perfect quarterback for the next 15, 20 years than it would be to give him a $500 million contract. He says, man, you can't just stream for 15 minutes. I know, I guess, right? I guess if I have those, it'll just have to be recorded videos that I upload. Jackson Real, I'm gonna answer 2 more questions. This is one of them. They had no choice. J.J. Watt said, let me go. And when you have a guy who has been your franchise for how many years, and he says, I'm done, I want out, you have to let him go. You can't force him to stay because you're doing him a disservice and it'll paint your organization horrible. So they had to let him go. This is not the question. Thanks so much, Garrett. I appreciate it. Let's get another question on here. One more question. I will answer one more question. I'm just sitting here looking. But yeah. I don't know what we're going to do about the NFL. Like I said, in 5 years, you're going to be looking at ridiculous money. Because you can say anything you want about the NFL. They know how to do business. Corn Dog, what's going on? Appreciate you being here. Thanks a lot. Guys, like I said, I'm taking one more question, and then I'm going to end it. But until I see that question drop, don't forget, smash that like button, hit subscribe, share my channel if you can. Check me out on Patreon. Hit the notification bell so you're notified next time I go live or upload a video. All right. Who do I think we will be getting for Edge? Okay. Real quick ones. I think they are all in. I agree we need to get a left tackle. I think we can get him in the second round. If Rhodes don't come back, I don't think we have to draft one. I do like TJ Carey. I think we could sign another free agent. On the edge, I would love them to spend their first round pick and get Jamal Phillips, all right, from the University of Miami. All right. Deshaun Watson's a different story. Deshaun Watson just got his first contract extension, signed a long-term extension with them. They're trying to tell him, hold on, wait. Give us a chance. That's what's going on there. J.J. Watt's been around a lot longer than what Watson has. That's that situation. He'll get a shot in the offseason, right? During OTAs and training camp and stuff. If we have OTAs and training camp and preseason, he'll get a shot at it. Guys, that's it. I answered a bunch more than I thought I would. Thanks so much. You guys just jumped on here and just lit up my chat. I really appreciate it. Now that I don't have a contract with Sportscaster, where I have to stream on there every day, I will be here with you guys all the time, okay? So book it every evening, sometime, 5 p.m. on down. I will probably pop in. Generally, it'll be 5 p.m., but I didn't do it at 5 p.m. this time because I had other stuff. Thank you so much, everybody. John Davis, Nomadic, JDW, Jackson Real, everybody else that's been here. Until next time, I'm Lawrence Owen. This wasn't supposed to be Colts Law, but it is. We were talking about how expensive franchise quarterbacks in the NFL are this year. Have a good one.